I love being with you. This is Georgia. This is Macon, Georgia. We won Macon, Georgia. We're going to win it again. It's great to be back in the heart of this incredible state with the thousands of loyal, hardworking, unbelievable American patriots. Thank you very much. And 18 days from now, we're going to win the state of Georgia. We're going to win 4 more years. Isn't that beautiful and incredible in so many ways? That beautiful White House, right? And just remember, early voting is underway. Get out and vote. Go out and vote. So we're running against perhaps the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics. Can you believe this? Did you watch last night? I mean, give me a break. But actually, I wish he was a good candidate because it actually puts more pressure on you running against a guy like this. Sleepy Joe Biden is the living embodiment of the corrupt political class that enriched itself while draining the economic life and soul from our country. You know what's happened? You know very well in Georgia what happened. For the last 47 years, Joe Biden shipped away your jobs, shut down your factories, threw open your borders, and ravaged our cities while sacrificing American blood and treasure in endless and ridiculous foreign wars. In places you've never even heard of before. How ridiculous. He's a servant of the wealthy donors, globalists, and special interests who got rich bleeding America dry. And by the way, I could call these guys, every one of them would give me millions. I'm president. I call heads of Wall Street firms. I'd say, hey, do me a favor. Could you give me $5 million? Every single one. I can't do that, though, because you know what? If I do that, I got to do things for them, and I don't want to do. I want to do what's right. I could raise more money. I could raise more money. I've been a world's greatest fundraiser, but I just don't want to do it because then they call you and you sort of say, hey, you know, they treated me good. I got to treat them good. I know you don't think that's the way the system works, but that's the way the system, I guess, works, unfortunately. But it doesn't work that way for me. In 2016, you voted to fire this corrupt and decrepit political establishment, and you elected an outsider as president to finally put America first. And we've learned over the last couple of months, Joe Biden is a corrupt politician. He's a corrupt politician. And the Biden family is a criminal enterprise. Frankly, it makes crooked Hillary Clinton look like an amateur. Now, whoever saw anything like this? He goes to China, the kid is followed like a vacuum cleaner. He follows and follows and follows. And unfortunately, it sounds like he left his laptop behind, or they have thousands. Here's a guy, didn't have a job, but now he's taking in millions, and plenty of it goes to Joe Biden, too. Don't kid yourself. It goes to Joe Biden. Did you see the one today? The guy gets 10%. 10%. I wonder who the guy is. This was not a good, between Anthony Weiner's laptop and this laptop, these are two beauties. I think this one could be worse than the Weiner laptop. Yet this massive scandal is being covered up by the media and big tech, right? All those people. Look at them. So here we have, think of it. Here we have the biggest scandal going on anywhere in the world, the corruption of Joe Biden and the Biden family. And he's interviewed last night by Stephanopoulos on ABC, and they don't even ask him the question about it. No, think of it. They don't even ask him a question like, you know, like, how come your son got $3.5 million from Moscow, right? From Moscow. Russia. Because they were the ones involved with Russia, it turns out, not me. It was the opposite. But why did your son get $3.5 million from the wife of the mayor of Moscow? Think of it. Think of it. A little question like that. Remember Chris Wallace said, oh, well, you shouldn't ask him that question. Why is that, Chris? Tell me. He's no Mike. He's no Mike. Chris is no Mike. But then the other one, how about this? $1 billion, get rid of the prosecutor. Otherwise, you don't get the $1 billion from the United States. But that's turning out to be peanuts compared to what we're finding now. Now he wants $10 million from China to make an introduction. Would anybody here take $10 million to introduce somebody to your father? I'd do it, Dad. I'd do it for $10 million. I'd love to introduce. I would do it, Pop, and he'd want me to do it. $10 million, Dad, please. Ah, I had a great father. I'm not just running against Biden and that corrupt family. I'm running against the left-wing corrupt media, and we're running against big tech. This is a hell of a big crowd, but look at that. That goes all the way back. But, you know, the media, they never show it. You ever notice? You go home. They show me and about 3 people behind me. People left, right. 4 stars. They end up 3 + 1. Thank you, Ray. You know, it's very interesting. I love that, but no politician, I believe, has ever heard that chant. Really. We love somebody. No, think of it. Reagan, I love Reagan. He was a wonderful guy. You never heard the chant, we love Reagan. You never heard that. This started a few weeks ago, and it's amazing. And I appreciate it very much. I do. I appreciate it. And I love this state. I love Georgia. You know, when you had the hurricane overdrive where it came in and wiped out a lot of your area, David Perdue is a fantastic guy who may be here someplace. But David Perdue called me. He said, you got to do me a favor. You got to help us with our farmers. And we gave them a hell of a lot of money. We helped. They got wiped out by a hurricane. You know, you don't hit too many hurricanes, right? But this was a big monster that hit Florida, hit a lot of different areas, hit Alabama. We took care of Alabama. We took care of Georgia. We took care of Georgia. Took care of our farmers. I'll never forget, I came here and I stood, and I was with 32 farmers. All of them got hit hard. And one of them said, sir, I was a week away from having the best crop I've ever had, and it got ripped apart, just ripped apart. It wasn't his fault, and we took care of him. We took care of all of them, okay? And it made me feel good. It made me feel good. Great people. And they never asked for anything. They just want a level playing field. That's all they ever wanted. And I raised, by the way, $28 billion. Thank you, China, because they targeted our farmers. $12 billion, and then the next year, $16 billion. Frankly, you did better without even working, if you want to know the truth. Came from China. And we did a hell of a job, and those farmers are all happy today, but they were targeted by China. We got $28 billion in tariffs, and we gave it to your farmers, and everybody's doing just fine today, right? But the radical left is doing everything in their power to protect their chosen candidate who has no clue where he is. He's gone. They've nothing but disdain for you and for your values and the values of Georgia. I know Georgia very well. They flood your communities with criminal aliens, with drugs, crime, while leaving behind. And you see what they do. They live in gated communities, but they flood you out. They complain about guns and they complain about everything. And then they want to end your Second Amendment, but they want protection for themselves. They oppose school choice while sending their families to the best private schools. We need school choice, by the way. They demonize our great, and you know, you see this. Hello, look how beautiful. So beautiful. They demonize our great police and law enforcement while hiring private security for themselves. They attack the Second Amendment every single day while employing armed guards. And let me tell you, I am the only thing standing in the way of you and your Second Amendment. It's under siege. It's a big deal. They support crippling lockdowns while their jobs remain totally exempt. It's time we sent a message to these wealthy liberal hypocrites. I could have every one of them. By the way, I mean, just like I said before, I know these guys. I can call them all. Hey, do me a favor. Irving, send me $5 million. Okay, I'll do it. Donald, I'll do it if you want it. Oh, man, I got to do it. Do you mind if I take 1 week and just do it? I will set the all-time record on fundraising. Man, would I be good at that. It's so easy. I wouldn't have to explain a thing. But they come from Washington, they come from New York, they come from Silicon Valley. And by the way, those Silicon Valley guys are sort of getting caught, aren't they, huh? Section 230, I'm sure most of you don't know what that means. Section 230. These guys, they're given powers, they're given rights by Washington, and then they claim free speech, right? They claim, but they're giving an exemption. They're given a total exemption, and they can't abuse that power. And there's a lot of things going on right now, and a lot of your people are looking. We have some of those people here, your great congressmen, senators, and we'll be introducing them in a second, but they're looking very hard at Section 230. On Election Day, you can send a message that the fake news media right there, boy, there are a lot of them. Look at that. It looks like the Academy Awards. It's a lot of people. There are a lot of people. Look at those cameras. They're all running with those red lights, but every time I mention their name, those red lights go off. You know, the red lights, that means you're live, and then they start talking about it. They say, get the light off, wait, turn it off. Go to a break. Let's go to a break right now. That fake news CNN, they don't know what. They are so fake. They really are. They're just disgusting. NBC is no better. Did you get to see last night? You did a good job. But look, I mean, I could have had somebody else. They're all the same. I mean, they ask you a question, you give them an answer, right? But I want to tell you that she's like disappeared. Everybody thought it was so inappropriate. Here they give this guy softballs. Did you see a week ago Lester Holt? Lester Holt, another genius. Lester Holt. Here's Mr. Vice President, sir, what did you have for dinner, sir? Was it good? And in Savannah, it was like her face, the anger, the craziness. I mean, the craziness last night. And I said goodbye. I said, great job, Savannah, you did wonderfully, good job. But we got very high marks for that last night, but they thought it was very unfair that Sleepy Joe, who cannot answer a question, he really can't answer a question. Well, Chris Wallace protected him with me. I talked about the Moscow $3.5 million payment. I talked about the $1 billion. Chris Wallace wouldn't he said, no, that's not appropriate. Why? You mean the guy's allowed to take $3.5 million so we're not allowed to talk to him about it? I'm telling you, that Biden family, and others, but that Biden family is corrupt. It's a corrupt family. And with me and my kids, let me tell you, my kids, I'll tell you something, though, it's very, lock them up. You should lock them up. Lock up the Bidens. Lock up Hillary. Lock them up. Can you imagine if my kids did what this guy Hunter is doing? Ivanka. Oh, my beautiful, my wonderful Ivanka. She's a good kid. Can you imagine? And you know, she's much smarter, much sharper. She could, if she wanted to, how could she do well? And Don and Eric and Tiffany, they're good kids. But you know, we don't do things. It's like, boy, they'd make a fortune. Just think of it. And when you look at what they get away with, and by the way, Biden's brother, try that one. I won't go too deep in the family. I'm not looking to insult everybody, but honestly, in my opinion, it's a criminal enterprise. It's a criminal enterprise. He's like a vacuum cleaner. The father goes through and the son comes in a vacuum cleaner, millions of dollars for it. And take a look at the way they live. 47 years he's a politician. He lives very well. Almost as well as Maxine Waters. You ever see her house? Maxine Waters, what a beautiful house she lives in. I wonder how that happened. On election day, you can send a message that the fake news media can't get away with it any longer. We can't let them get away with it any longer. And these big tech companies, you know, it's funny because I've heard about the big tech companies. I didn't care too much, and I heard the power was unbelievable. And it's like 99% for the other side. And I kept hearing about big tech, the power, and I ran. I kept hearing it, you know, what the hell. In one ear, out the other. But I kept hearing, and we won. So I kept hearing after that, we won. And I said, well, wait a minute. If they're so powerful, how come we won, right? They were 100% against us. But now it's gotten worse and worse, and now they've gone crazy. They've gone crazy. How about our magnificent Kaylee, right? So Kaylee, I don't know what the word would be. I guess suspended, but they suspended her account because she posted an article from the New York Post, which is one of the largest papers in the country, which, by the way, I want to thank them. The one paper, they've really got guts. They're printing this stuff. They got to be making a fortune as much as they can make in that industry nowadays. But, you know, when you look at the failing New York Times and the Washington Post, they don't want to write about it. They don't want to write about it. This is the biggest political scandal. No, I'm sorry. It's the second biggest political scandal. The biggest political scandal, we caught them. That's when they spied on our campaign and tried to take down your president. But this is the second biggest political scandal. These are a bunch of bad people. And you think it's fun doing what I do, right? No, I had a great life, I want to tell you. I was doing well. I was having a lot of fun. But you know what? I would never give up what we've achieved. Think of what we've achieved. The other stuff. I mean, honestly, there are a lot of successful people. There are a lot of people that are successful. Got a lot of them right here. A lot of successful people. But nobody in first 3.5 years, first 3.5 years, nobody has achieved in the history of our country what we've achieved with our military, with our tax cuts, with our regulation cuts, with all of the things that we've done. Nobody has done as much as we've done. Things like right to try, things like Space Force. Thank you very much. You know, I always get them. I said, turn the cameras, turn the cameras. So we just left Florida. We had a crowd that was like this. It was massive. It went on forever. I said, turn the cameras, show the crowd. They don't realize it's actually good for them because it's exciting. It's like being at a Florida State, Florida, Ohio State, if you want to say. It's a massive football game. You know, before we had a socially distance where you have all these empty seats, right? You'll be back very soon. You'll be back very soon. But. And then, of course, Georgia. Not bad. You're doing okay. But. And who's the greatest of them all from Georgia? Who's the greatest of them all from Georgia? Herschel. By the way, how good was Herschel Walker, right? He made a lot of quarterbacks look good. Here, Herschel running. Boom. 6 yards, 9 yards, 10 yards, 100 yards. And he's on our side, and he's an incredible guy. Herschel Walker. I remember when he was playing here, they had like the ballad to Herschel Walker. He was like just a legendary guy, remember? From the time he started, just boom, 6 yards, 8 yards, 10 yards. And then the quarterback goes, he says, I think I'm going to sign with the NFL. It's like amazing. But Herschel's been great, and Herschel loves his state, and the fact that we have his endorsement so strongly. I mean, so strongly. We love it. But what a great football player he was. What a great winner. We want to thank Herschel. The ballot to Herschel Walker. On November 3rd, show the people, the great American people, that we're in charge, that we're delivering Sleepy Joe Biden and that whole group of radical left crazies. And by the way, he's not really radical left, but he's got no choice. He's got absolutely nothing going. They're running the party. How about Kamala? How good did Mike Pence do? So how good did Mike Pence do a week ago against Kamala? That was easy. That was easy. Mike is great. He's doing a great job. And he really did. He did a great job. But it's very unfair. You know, it's so unfair. When you watch, okay, you watched last night, and you see the anger and the hatred. I'm saying, well, look, let's just do this thing. Just take it easy. Relax. Just relax. Take it nice and easy, okay? Okay. She said, but I told you that's true. I said, I don't believe you. Why would I believe you? You know? You see that where she's screaming? I said, well, who told me? I told you. I said, who cares if you told me? What are you telling me? But we got very high marks. But compare that. Could you imagine if Joe Biden was treated like Savannah Guthrie treated us? Not me. It's us. Could you imagine? He would be freaked out. He would probably be under the table. He would be under the table. And she's easy compared to President Xi and Putin and Kim Jong-un and plenty of others. She's like easy pickings. But could you imagine if she came at him? Did you see? Now, I was interviewed a couple of weeks by George Stephanopoulos, and it was a tough interview, but it was fine. I don't say, like, you know, give me the answers of the questions. Do you ever see where they ask him a question and then he starts reading the answer? That means he has the answers to. I never saw anything like what's going on in my entire life. They asked, how about, did you see that a week ago where it said, move it up a little closer, I can't read the damn answer. This is the fake news. I've been saying it. I am so proud of the fact that I've exposed these people for what they are. I'm telling you. Look at all that equipment. It's millions of dollars worth of equipment. And you know what? If they were truthful, our country would come together so fast. It's really true. They're a big part of the problem. I was saying today, I was telling, when I was in Florida, I was telling the story that, you know, our people, we're going to bring it all together. And they said, how are you going to do it? Through success. Because we were ready. We had the most successful economy we've ever had. We never had an economy. African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, women, people with high school diplomas, people without high school diplomas, people from MIT, top of their class, geniuses, physicists, chemical engineers. Everybody was doing better than they've ever done. And then we had the plague sent to us by China. We're not going to forget that. We're not going to forget that. We're not going to forget it, and they know we're not going to forget it. They know it damn well that we're not going to forget it. And now we closed it down. We saved millions of lives. They don't say that, you know. We're at over 200,000. That's terrible. But compared to other nations, it's amazing what we've been able to do. But we saved millions. It was supposed to be 2.2 million lives, right? And we saved millions of lives, and now we're rebuilding it back, and our economy is setting records. What we're doing is setting records. But if I don't sound like a typical Washington politician, it's because I'm not a politician. And if I don't always play by the rules of the Washington establishment, and it would make, it would make my life a lot easier, to be honest. I know how to play those rules. Remember they used to say, and I used to play the game about acting presidential. I'm a smart guy. We're a lot of smart people here. I'm smart. And I always said it's much easier to be presidential than to do what I do. Right? Remember? And I said, I'm more presidential if I wanted to be, but I got to get things done. I don't have enough time. There's so many stupid things that happen with bad deals, stupid deals, bad trade deals. But you remember, I used to go and I would have fun, but I'd used to go and I'd imitate a president who's playing presidential. That's so easy compared to what we do. What we do is much more difficult. I said, I can be more presidential than any president in our history, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln when he wore the hat. That was tough to beat. That was tough to beat. But you remember, I'd do it. We had fun with it. We'd say, ladies and gentlemen of Georgia, this is your president, and it is a great honor to be with you tonight. Things are going very well with our country. Our military is building. And, so I could do that, and, within about 3 minutes, everybody would pick up and they'd say, let's get the hell out of here. This guy's... No, we're doing a great job. We're renegotiating these horrible trade deals. We're bringing our people back home. Our soldiers are great heroes. Because I was elected to fight for you, and I fight harder for you than any president has ever fought for the people of this country. Thank you very much. Thank you. By the way, I have to tell you, the spirit in this country is unbelievable. The spirit in these rallies are unbelievable. And hey, we were in Minnesota. We're going to win Minnesota. Minnesota, I think, hasn't been won since 1972. We're going to win Minnesota. We're going to win Minnesota. Opened up the iron ore. We opened up areas of Minnesota that they closed. In Maine, Obama took away 5,000 square miles of ocean. Can you believe it? I gave it back to the people of Maine. We're doing things that nobody's ever thought about doing, ever done. We went into, take a look at Minneapolis. The place was burning down. The National Guard goes in. 30 minutes, would you say? Remember, they formed that beautiful scene. After watching this for a week and a half, and we want to do it with Portland. Portland would be so easy. Wise guys. They're just wise guys. These are wise guys in there. You had the one guy who killed somebody in the street. Took him 3 days to arrest. I sent in the U.S. Marshals, 15 minutes later, it was over. I said, why hasn't that guy been... They all knew who. They were putting his picture up. I said, why hasn't he been arrested? Well, sir, they haven't. I said, really? You got another day? We sent in the U.S. Marshals. In 15 minutes, we had the greatest law enforcement people in the world. 15 minutes later, it was all over for him. But the forces opposing me in Washington are the same people who are responsible for every disastrous trade deal, foreign policy blunder, and border security betrayal. Look at our border. Our southern border is so great. By the way, we've topped 400 miles of wall. Building 10 miles a week. It'll be finished very soon. But it's had an incredible impact. Our border has never been as good. We got rid of catch and release, all the stuff that everybody said would be impossible. But it's been incredible. And Mexico is paying for the wall. You do know that, okay? They like to say, now finally they say, okay, he's building the wall. But Mexico's not paying for it. No, Mexico is paying for it. They know that, but they don't like to say it. No, we're doing some incredible things. This is the most important election in the history of our country. And I used to, even 2-3 months ago, say, well, this is like very important, but 2016 was important. This is more important. This is more. And success will bring us together, as I was saying, but you know what else is going to bring us together? A victory. Because they're just going to finally say, let's just give up. They're going to say, these people can't be beaten. They're going to say these people can't be beaten. And many of them were so happy 2 weeks ago, they heard Trump tested positive. They were so happy. And then I got out, like right away. Here I am, like a long time. I could have done. God's right. They say, can you imagine he won't be able to hold any more rallies? He'll be recovering or worse. Or worse. He'll be recovering or worse. And like 12 minutes later, here we are, you know. Like, don't forget, I've been doing this for a long time already. This is not my first rally, right? But all these rallies are like this. The spirit of this country is unbelievable. And that's what we have. And even the fake news admits we have more enthusiasm than any candidate in the history of this country. True. And he has less enthusiasm, in my opinion, than any candidate. I think he's the weakest candidate in the history of presidential politics. I really mean it. Now, with all of that being said, they have a corrupt media, they have big tech, they have all of this stuff. It's a very powerful party. And they have advantages. You know, they automatically win New York. I don't know why New York is doing so badly. They automatically win California. I don't know why California is doing so badly. The forest fires, no water, no this, no that. You know, minor little problems. They automatically win Illinois. I mean, we got to run the table. It's automatic because it's just the way it falls. You know, winning the Electoral College is a very, very hard thing to do. And we just ran the string, right? But it's a very hard thing to do. But we're winning in Florida. We're winning here. You know, it's amazing. Like, if he came here, Sleepy Joe, if he came here, honestly, if they announced, they'd work really hard to try and find people. No, I really mean this. We have tens of thousands. Look at this. This thing goes back, way, way back. I wish they wouldn't give these guys a good look. I wish they'd move them back 100 yards. And I'm telling my people, I'll save a little time. My people, please, from now on, could you please move the fake news media back like another 100 yards? I hope you're listening, too. No, because you know what? Those cameras, they have magnifiers on. They can be back, and you can get a lot of people. So instead of standing behind the camera and looking at the cameraman's ass, we don't need that, okay? Just move them back, and we get more people up here because it goes back forever. Thank you back there. We love you. Thank you. But we're going to move it back. Move them back. Move. This can only happen in Georgia. You know, I have an idea. Just gave me an idea. We'll have a new T-shirt tomorrow morning. Move them back. Right? Move them back. Well, we did it with, you know, we did it with this crazy Hunter Biden. Remember? Where's Hunter? I kept saying, where the hell is Hunter? Because he was gone. You know, they caught him stealing a lot of money. So he, like, disappeared, remember? And I said, where's Hunter? And then I said, wait a minute. That's a great idea for a T-shirt. We came out with a T-shirt, Where's Hunter? It became one of the big successes of the year. Where's Hunter? We were talking today about drug prices, and you know, in this country, we have a very bad system, and we have middlemen that are very rich. And I was talking about how we're cutting out the middlemen. Oh, these are not people that like me very much. And we're going with favored nations and all that stuff. We're getting your drug prices down 60, 70, 80%. But the middlemen are making all of this money, tremendous. They're very wealthy. They don't even do anything. Frankly, at least the drug companies, they make the drug. So we're talking about the middlemen. And I say, wait a minute, I think I know one of the middlemen. It must be Hunter. Hunter Biden is a middleman. On top of everything else, China, Ukraine, Russia, plus he's a middleman. What a family. Biden's made a corrupt bargain in exchange, and that's what he's done. It's a corrupt bargain in exchange for his party's nomination, which, by the way, should have gone to Bernie. You know, Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, if she would have left a day before Super Tuesday, Joe Biden would not have won any of those states. They split up the vote. It was super liberal, her, and it was crazy Bernie. And I say it all the time. I think Bernie Sanders is the nicest, greatest loser I've ever seen because, no, it's true. And I mean this, and you know, we're going to get a lot of their votes because they love us on trade. Because the one thing Bernie's right on is every country in this world, including our so-called allies, excuse me, are there any children in the house? Okay, close your ears, children. Screws us on trade. And Bernie's people know that, and Bernie's into it. The problem is Bernie wouldn't be able to do anything about it. I've done a lot about it. I've done a lot about it. But, you know, that's why. We got a big percentage of Bernie people. And because they didn't like Hillary, but they don't like Joe. And we're going to get a lot of Bernie people, so I have to be nice to Bernie. But I consider him a really good loser, because he loses with such, he's so nice about it. He loses. I mean, what she did to him was bad, but this was in a way worse, because all Elizabeth Warren had to do was leave the campaign, didn't even have to endorse him, and he would have gotten votes, and he would have won every single state on Super Tuesday. And that didn't happen. And so now we have a guy with a little bit larger base, but no energy. Here we would have had somebody with a smaller base, but with tremendous energy, but not as much energy as we do, and we have a big base, so I like that either. A long, complex story, but what the hell? I have nothing but time, right? What the hell? In exchange for his party's nomination, he's handed control, and you know that, in exchange to the socialists and the Marxists and the far-left lunatics. If he wins, the radical left will be running this country. They're addicted to power, and God help our country if that happens. I really mean it. You'll never make a comeback. It'll be a large-scale version of Venezuela. I've been saying that for a year, but I've never meant it like I mean it now. The only difference is the size, because the ideology is the same. Venezuela 20 years ago, less, was so wealthy, one of the wealthiest countries. It had oil, it had everything, very, very magnificent. Now they don't have water, they don't have medicine, they don't have food. Everyone's fleeing the country. You know, the only difference is the size. But the ideology, when you look at a Portland, I want them to let us in. I said, Governor of Oregon, I said, let us come in. I want to solve your problem. But they're radical left Democrats. You know, it's just like the craziest thing. But that's what Venezuela is. They're anarchists. You look at some of these cities, they're anarchists, and they don't want to say. And the press wants to call them peaceful protests. And we originally had a hard time. We had a hard time. They didn't want us to have any rallies in certain states. And then I realized you're not allowed to go to church. You're not allowed to have dinner with people. You're not allowed to do anything unless in Michigan you happen to be married to the governor because her husband. You're not allowed to go sailing unless you're married to the governor of Michigan, in which case you can go sailing. Remember that? Did she get caught or what? Now she's blaming me because people were whatever. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I wasn't. And it was our people that caught them, right? It's Trump's fault. Always Trump's fault. Isn't it incredible? And yet we did her a favor. Who knows? I mean, they have to look at that whole thing, too. But we are doing an incredible job in this country. This country is great. And we have spirit like nobody's had spirit. And there's going to be a red wave next week that's going to be unbelievable. And they're talking about it. Look at that. That's millions of dollars worth of equipment. And they'll never turn it around to show those people back there because they want to say. Donald Trump had a rally in Georgia. There was a smattering of people, a small smattering. No, it's amazing. Nobody's ever had what we've had. And you're going to have a red wave. They call it a red wave. One of these characters standing right there, he said, there could be a red wave. Don't say there could be. There will be. It's going to be a wave. And they don't want to go the phony, unsolicited ballot. You know, they send ballots out by the millions. They don't have no idea. Well, they do actually have an idea where they're going. That's what really. But we say, who's sending them? Where are they going? Who's getting them? Who's delivering them? Who's signing them? What the hell are they doing? And then if you say that, they go, he's not for freedom. He's not for freedom. And they know better than you do. It's a big con job. So we have to be very, very careful with the ballots because they find ballots in a garbage can last week. Military ballots that had the name Trump on them, and they're in a garbage can. They found 50,000 ballots from Ohio. They find them from North Carolina, dumped in a river. They find them, I think, 500,000 ballots in Virginia. They were incorrect. They're printing them wrong. They had one little problem on one set of ballots, thousands and thousands. They forgot to put the name of Donald Trump on the ballot. Other than that, the ballot was quite good, okay? No, this is serious, and I'm being serious about this. These people are doing a tremendous disservice, and they're using COVID as the reason. You know, they're using this as a reason not to go out and vote. So we voted in World War I, where, by the way, you had a pandemic that made this look like peanuts, okay? World War I. They voted in World War I. They voted in World War II. They voted during the Great Depression. They voted. But we can't do that. You got to send in a ballot. So complicated, too. They have instructions. You do the ballot, then you do this. But some of them make it nice and simple. You don't have to sign. You don't have to verify. But what they don't tell you is we've won a lot of court cases. How about you put your ballot in, and it has to be in by November 3rd. But you have 2 weeks in which to, so wait a minute, you have 2 weeks to count them. Does that mean we have to hold up the whole election? Because you know what? I want to find out who won or lost. I want to find out legitimately who won or lost on November 3rd. I'm not looking to find out. I'm not looking to find out on November 19th or on December 1st or on 2 years from now. And if you take a look at some of these ballot schemes, in New York, we had a third-rate politician named Carolyn Maloney, who I know very well. She used to come to my office all the time for campaign contributions. But she won a race. The number of ballots missing, they have no idea. Her opponent, who could have won, it was very close, but they declared her the winner. But her opponent has gone totally nuts. And you know what? He should. He should. But you look at that, you look at Paterson, New Jersey, you look at what happened in Virginia. These are all races that took place recently. And they'll say, even in 18, they had a lot of disasters. And even in 16, I didn't even know it, but they had a lot of ballots. I promise you it will be against us, okay? It will be against us. It will be against us. But you look at Nevada, we have a good chance to win Nevada, but they're sending ballots to everybody. The governor was a backroom politician, and I don't want him having the fate of an election. I don't think it's right that he has the fate of our most important election ever in his hands. I don't want that. So if you see anything wrong, law enforcement's watching, marshals or U.S. Marshals are watching, same type of guys. These are no games people. One thing I would say, law enforcement, they're on our side. And I said it. I said it during the debate with Joe. I said, Joe, name one law enforcement group that's supporting you. He couldn't do it. Then he was bailed out by Chris Wallace, right? I said, name one law enforcement. Then I said, here, Joe, just say the words law and order. Say those words, Joe. He didn't want to say it. I said, Joe, just say the words law and order. That's not hard. Joe, law and order. He couldn't say it. He wouldn't say it. Then he tried. I think he said law and order and safety and security, you know, because he has to get the vote of the radical left, and they don't like law and order. And you know who likes Trump because of law and order? The suburban women. We've gone over it. I keep hearing because they want law and order. And I got, oh, look at that. Thank you. Same thing happened 4 years ago. Same thing. They said, women will not vote for Trump. Women will not. Then the election's over. They said, man, the women really came out and voted for Trump, right? But suburban women. They keep saying suburban women. And I got rid of a regulation that would have destroyed the value of your homes, okay? And would have made your homes very unsafe. With low-income housing being built all over the place, right next to your house, I terminated it. And even my people, they said, sir, you don't have to terminate. We can make it much weaker. I said, no, you don't understand. I want it terminated, and I terminated it. Suburban women, please. Thank you very much. Thank you. No, I heard they like my policy, but they don't like my personality. I said, they don't care about my personality. They want to be safe, and they want to keep their American dream. They don't care about my personality, which I think is okay. They like my personality, and I like them. I like them. I love them. The radical left is hell-bent on destroying everything that we love and cherish. You know, it's that culture stuff, right? Cancel culture. They want cancel culture. They want to get rid of our great heroes from the past. They want to get rid of our history. They want to get rid of our culture, right? I was at Mount Rushmore. They want to blow Mount Rushmore up. I said to our great governor of South Dakota, Christy, I said, Christy, it's never happening. Christy, don't worry about it. She said, you don't have to, we don't even need your help on this one. It was so beautiful, Mount Rushmore. They want to blow it up. I said, not going to happen. None of that stuff is going to happen. But I will tell you, a few months ago, if I weren't your president, you would have had the Jefferson Memorial, the Lincoln Memorial. How about Lincoln? They want to attack even Lincoln. He's probably looking down and he's saying, what the hell did I do? I was on their side, I think, right? What did I do? They want to attack the Lincoln. If I wasn't your president, they would have attacked the Jefferson Memorial. And I stopped it. I stopped a lot of things. I also saved your Second Amendment, by the way. They want to punish the middle class, expunge every last trace of traditional values, and replace the American dream with a socialist nightmare. The Democrat Party has gone crazy, but they have contempt for America. They have contempt for the United States. And I don't think Biden does, but Biden has no power. He's gone. He's gone. Up here, he's gone. The Republican Party is proud of America. We're proud of America. We love America. We celebrate American values, American history, and American culture. And we're working to deliver a truly extraordinary American future. But I want the Republican Party to get tougher, because the Republican Party, they're very good people, but they're not tough enough in terms of our values and what we stand for. They let these other people, these lunatics, get away with things like you can't spy on a campaign, you can't try and take over a duly elected president of the United States and get caught. And when you get caught, you have to suffer the consequences. It's very simple. Joe Biden and the Democrat socialists will kill your jobs, dismantle your police departments, and you see that going all over with Seattle and all. And by the way, Seattle, so they knew we were going in the following day. So the night before, they raised their hands and they left. Okay, very simple. I said, that's it. Whether they like us in there or not, we're going in. They took over a big piece of the city, and they weren't going to do anything. They knew we were going in. And so the night before, they said, you know, these are little facts that I give you just to give you, because that's the way it works. They're supposed to ask us, the governors are supposed to ask us. But these radical left, you know, if you look at Republican-run states and cities, they're doing phenomenally well, never done better. But if you look at these radical left, look at what happened to my beautiful New York since I left. 3.5 years, it was doing great, and I left. I'm not saying because, but maybe it is, but I left. I came to Washington. What's happened to New York, what they've done to that incredible city and state is so sad. Look at Chicago. Look at what's going on there. Look at what's going on. Atlanta. Look at Atlanta. It's so sad what's going on. And these are radical left, no bail, no cash bail, no nothing. I mean, you kill somebody, no problem, no problem. They're going to have to get their act together. They're going to have to get their act together, because we're not going to put up with it much longer. They want to dissolve your borders, release criminal aliens, raise your taxes. And by the way, I'm cutting your taxes big. Biden, this guy. No, Biden wants to substantially raise your taxes. And then he says, well, I'm only talking about people. I said, no. He wants to terminate the tax cuts that we gave you. So that's $2,000. And then you look at the energy cuts, and you look at the child tax credit, and you look, it's $1,000 each, and you look at all, it's $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a family. Well, if you're going to terminate it, that means that's $9,000. Well, I don't know about that. Then he pulls out a piece of paper and he starts reading it out of his... Did you see that? He did that yesterday. He pulled out a piece of paper because he couldn't remember any of the numbers. He pulls out, and George Stephanopoulos is sitting there watching this. He didn't treat me as nice, so I did him 2 weeks ago, too, and he was okay. He was fine. It is what it is, right? He's going to ask me a question, right? You know the expression? He asks you a question, I give him an answer. That's all you can do, right? You can't do any better than that. But they were nasty, pretty nasty, and not terrible, but pretty. Last night she was out of line. I mean, in my opinion, she was out of line. It's like, as I said, just relax, take it nice and easy. But when you watch the one the week before, it's such a difference. The beauty is the people of our country get it. They're smart. They get it. They get it. They get it better than NBC owned by Comcast, C-O-N. I'd call it Concast. It used to be Com. They spend a fortune on public relations, and I come along and call them Concast all the time. It's a con job. They want to confiscate your guns, drive God from the public square, and abolish the suburbs. That's what they want to do. To defend our Constitution from this madness, I proudly nominated Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the United States Supreme Court. She's great. She's so smart. She's so smart, right? She's done a great job. She's done a great job. And she went through it, no problem. And they came at her. They came at her. It was like your Atlanta team when they were good a couple of years ago. How the hell did they lose that Super Bowl? Could you? How the hell did that happen? I keep thinking, man, if you own that team or you worked for that team, that was a long shot. But it's one of those things. But that was like that team playing a high school football team, right? She was so much more talented than those people that were trying to embarrass her, and she was cool as hell. The coolest was, do you have notes? Do you have notes? Yeah. Right? A blank? No. She doesn't need to write down notes. I don't have notes either, right? So. And most of this has been off this teleprompter, because if it was on the teleprompter, many of you would say, this is a little boring. Let's get out of here, Sam. Last night, Biden refused to rule out court packing. In other words, they may take 16, 17, 18 people. He'll pack the court with radical left judges who will shred your Second Amendment, disarm law-abiding citizens, and protect terrorists and violent criminals. I won the ban from jihadist countries or other countries. If people are bad, we don't want them in. So I went for the ban. Everybody said, but I won. I won in the Supreme Court. And you know what? We don't want people that can't love our country. We don't want people that are going to hurt our country. So I have a ban, very controversial. And we won at the United States Supreme Court. And we don't let people in from certain countries that are going to look to do bad things to us. Pretty amazing what's happened, isn't it? Biden's agenda would also be a catastrophe for Georgia seniors. Seniors. Do we have any seniors in the House? Right? We're proud to be seniors, right? For years, Biden tried to cut your Social Security. You know that, and your Medicare. Now Biden is pledging mass amnesty and free health care for illegal aliens, decimating Medicare and destroying your Social Security, because that's what's going to happen. We all have a heart. I say this all the time. I mean, I have a heart. I don't want to hurt people. But once you say, come in, you're going to get free health care. You're going to get free education. The whole world is going to want to come into our country, and we're not going to be able to even come close to affording it. I have to take care of our seniors. I can't take care of millions of people that had no intention of coming here before these maniacs made these pledges. He'll bankrupt these programs to finance the left. open borders. They want to take, actually, we're just finishing up the walls, I said. They want to take the wall down, some of them. We want to take down the wall. This wall is a dream. It goes deep and it goes high. A lot of bad people aren't coming in because of that. They want to take it down, many of them. While I'm president, no one will touch your Medicare. No one will touch your Social Security. Under my leadership, we're delivering a safe vaccine and a rapid recovery. I love the recovery because here I am. I mean, that's stuff. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I wasn't exactly feeling great. And, when you're president, I told this today, when you're president, you got a lot of doctors. You get guys, Johns Hopkins, Walter Reed, you get all the great hospitals, and you got these geniuses, they're all over the place. Sir, let me do this, let me do that, just leave me alone, fellas. Get the hell out of here. But I wasn't feeling too great. And they gave me something, Regeneron. And a day later, I felt like Superman. I said, hey, whatever the hell that stuff was. And it's brand new, developed because of this. And we're going to do something very special. We're going to get it for every person that we think is appropriate for. In other words, every person that needs it. But I tell you what, they could call it a therapeutic, but to me it was a cure because the following day, our doctors are here. When you're president, they follow. We got more doctors. If anyone gets sick, this is a great time when I'm around because you'll have about 15 doctors standing over you in about 9 seconds. It's happened. It's happened many times. Somebody gets not so well, and all of a sudden they got the greatest doctors you've ever seen. They do a fantastic job. But this was all developed just very recently, months ago, for this. It's incredible, the strides that we've made. If you vote for me, prosperity will surge. Normal life, that's all we want. I want a normal life like we had 7 months ago. We don't want any, we want a normal life. That'll resume. And next year will be one of the greatest years economically in the history of our country because that's where we're going. This election is a choice between a Trump recovery and a Biden depression. Let me tell you something. He's going to quadruple your taxes. He's going to raise taxes on businesses. All the businesses that have moved into our country are going to move out. They're going back where they came. You're going to have a disaster. You will have a depression, the likes of which this country has never seen before if these crazy rules get in with the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal, the real number is $100 trillion. 100 trillion. They say, well, we could do it for like 9 trillion. Well, 9 doesn't work either. But the real price is 100. They want to rip down buildings and build new buildings in their place with tiny little windows. No, if you don't mind, I'd like to keep my window. I'd like to have a nice view of Georgia. No, no, think of it. $100 trillion. So, if we had an unbelievable economic surge that lasted 100 years without a problem, we wouldn't make $100 trillion. This is the craziest thing done by AOC plus 3, who knows nothing about the environment. She doesn't know. She's got a great line of bullshit. That's about it. No, it's true. She knows nothing about the environment. AOC plus 3. These were not great academics. How about Ilhan Omar? I'm going to win Minnesota because of Ilhan Omar. She hates our country. I mean, you see the way she talks. She hates our country. No, please don't tell her to leave. That happened once before. I got in a lot of trouble. They start screaming she should leave, and they got me in trouble. They said, why did he protest? But she doesn't like our country. You see what she says. And I'm going to win. Remember this. Minnesota hasn't been won since 1970. That's a long time. 1972. And we're going to win Minnesota because of Ilhan Omar. Well, having Minneapolis ripped down, burned down, and then we come into the land, and they should have called us on day one. Day one. The problem is they keep waiting. They wait till... How about the CNN reporter? I think his name's Velchi, the shaved head, nice shaved head. Maybe I'll try that someday. Shh, shh, shh. I don't know. My poll numbers might go down or they might go up. You never know, right? Maybe they'll go up. But he's standing there. This is a friendly protest. And behind him, the fire is like 9 blocks long. It looks like Berlin during the worst days of their lives. The fires are raging. This is a friendly protest. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Then the National Guard started moving forward. He got hit in the knee with a canister of tear gas. And he went down. I've been hurt. I've been injured. These people are crazy. You know, they don't report the violence. They don't report the looting on CNN, MSDNC, all these different networks. They don't report them. They don't want to talk about them. They want to think everything's wonderful. It's not. And the reason it's not, a lot of it is because of them. But I will deliver optimism, opportunity, and hope. And that's what we're doing. And this is why we have this kind of spirit. And I hate to say it because I don't want to insult Georgia, but it's this way all over our country. We have the biggest rallies in the history of politics. Nobody has rallies like this. Look at that. Look at the people. Now look, I mean, you can't see this. This goes all the way back, so you can't even see how far back. I can't even see the end of it. We have the greatest enthusiasm, the biggest crowds in the history of politics. And they don't talk about them. They'll say, yes, there were a smattering of people. That's true. I asked the First Lady, how did you like it? It was good. Were there many people there? I said, a lot. Didn't they show it? No, they don't show it. They just showed your face. They never go. She said, but I could hear it, you know? When you go to a Georgia football game when they're doing well, you can't imitate thousands and thousands of people with hundreds of people. I mean, Biden had a rally today, like 13 people showed up, and they don't talk about it. They say, Biden is here. The one guy actually made a mistake. He called him Sleepy Joe. He's an announcer. That guy's job is gone. But Vice President Biden is here today. He's making a speech on the environment. He has no idea what he's talking about. They don't say that there's nobody there. You know, he's got the circles, right? The circles. You ever see it? He's got like 5 circles. And he goes there, and people are standing. And the reason that, and the circles, not only are they big, although I love the artistry because the guy really does a nice job. You know, I'm into that stuff. It's very neat, very round, beautiful, solid. I mean, it would be impossible to catch anything if you're in one of those circles because you're so far away. It's like, but I never joke about it. I mean, I don't think it's necessary for Sleepy Joe to constantly, you know, he walks onto a stage, the people are, number one, there's no people there. And the few people that are there are like, what, 50 yards away? And the mask is always so large, you know, it's like covers the whole thing. I shouldn't joke. I shouldn't joke because you know what? Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. Biden will deliver pessimism, poverty, and decline. Our nation will decline very seriously. And again, he's been doing this for 47 years. He said, why didn't Trump move faster? Well, when I put in the ban on China, because they were heavily infected, and then Europe shortly thereafter, Biden called me xenophobic. I said, tell me what it means, Joe. Please tell me. I want you to know. He was unable to define it. They wrote it down, xenophobic. And he called me a racist, I think, because it was so early. Now time goes by, and he said, he should have done it earlier. He should have done it earlier. But he was months behind me, remember? He thought it was terrible that we closed down to China. And Fauci said, and he said very nicely, he said, Trump saved thousands of lives by making that decision. And to be honest, I was like just about the only one that wanted to do it. Joe Biden would terminate our recovery, delay the vaccine, prolong the pandemic, and annihilate Georgia's economy. And you're doing a great job, and you have a governor that's working hard, and he's doing a great job. I don't even know if he's here, but he's working hard, and he's doing a great job. We're going to find out. And you've got a great First Lady. And we're working to safely reopen their schools. Reopen the schools. Get those schools open all over our country. It's so bad. You know, Barron, right? Barron tested positive, my son. I said, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Like about 2 seconds later, how's he doing? Oh, he's okay now, sir. Because they have a great immune system, I guess. Who the hell knows? I mean, they have an immune system. 99.9 something percent, right? They're young and they're strong. I mean, for this particular disease, the flu, they have problems with young children. Real problems, real death problems. But for this, it's 99.99 something. I mean, it's like incredible. But no, Barron tested positive. The First Lady's doing great. She's doing great. Doing a great job. And she didn't do the Regeneron thing. You know, she did it the old-fashioned way. She got better. But Barron, you know, young kid, healthy kid, but he tested positive. And by the time I got to speak to the doctor the next time, it was like, how's he doing, doc? He's okay now, sir. He's gone. I said, it's gone that quick? But this is what happens. And then you're immune. It could be a long time. Yeah, Barron, everyone loves Barron. Do you think he's tall enough? He's a tall, young guy, but he's doing good. But, you know, it's an amazing thing, the children. That's why they have to get back to school. We have to protect our seniors very much. We have to protect our seniors, and that's what we're doing. But we have to protect our seniors. We have to protect certain groups, especially our seniors where they have a heart problem or they have a diabetes problem. But we got to get our businesses open. Now, in your case, your governor was very early. He did a great job. But you look at what's happened. You look at what's happened in New York. You look at what's happening in Michigan. We won the case. You know, the court ruled it was unconstitutional. She was keeping everybody like in prison, except her husband. She was keeping everybody. No, she was keeping everybody in prison. Pennsylvania, they got to open the state. We're going to do well in Pennsylvania, too, by the way. Watch. North Carolina, we have Mark Meadows here, by the way, from North Carolina, our great chief of staff. Where's Mark? Our great chief of staff. He's working. He said, boy, he was a very successful congressman, and he's been doing a fantastic job. Where's Mark? He's doing a great job. Is it an easy job, Mark? No problem. But Biden will close your classrooms, and you know that. He actually said the other day he'll follow science. He'll find. So that means if Fauci says close it up, he's going to close up the country. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And if you look at the numbers are great, and we're going to go over that. He wants to throw your children out of the school, close up your schools, and shut down your workplace. And we're now setting records for employment, unemployment. We're setting all sorts of records economically. Europe, which has imposed punishing, horrible, really strong lockdowns, is now experiencing a massive surge in cases. You know, the fake news would say, well, look at Europe. I said, we're doing better than Europe, but now Europe is exploding. And they'll be okay, but they're exploding. Biden's plan will crush America. My plan will crush the virus, and America will be stronger than ever before. So our early and aggressive action saved, I think, at least 2 million lives. We pioneered life-saving therapies and reduced the fatality rate 85%. Think of that. That's over a 6-month period. And I'm working to make the antibody treatment, and I've said it, and I got it, and I said, listen, for me it was great, and I'll bet for a lot of people it's great. These are the great scientists. They came up with some of the other incredible medicines of the last 10 years, this particular firm, but also Eli Lilly, it's very similar. And we're going to make it available free to anybody that needs it. Free. Should be getting the final approvals very soon. By the way, I'm getting approvals from the FDA that people would have taken 3 years to get, and those vaccines are coming out. But it's political, even that. I could have had them faster, but we had a little action. Nobody wanted me to get the approval before the election. And you know what? I'm not thinking about the election. I'm thinking about saving lives. The hell with the election. Thinking about saving lives. So that got a little political. Through Operation Warp Speed, We will have 100 million vaccine doses before the end of the year, and maybe substantially before that. The vaccine will end the pandemic once and for all, and they hate it when I say it. You got the vaccine? It's really looking great. Numerous companies, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, Pfizer, great. Others too, many companies, all of them, they're great. But you know what? Without the vaccine, it's ending too. We're rounding the turn. It's ending without the vaccine. But the vaccine's going to make it go quicker. Let's get rid of it. We want to get it the hell out of here. So we're joined tonight by a man who I am so proud that I gave a very early endorsement to, and I did it because of David Perdue. David said, Donald, Mr. President, I have somebody who's running for governor. I said, governor of where? He said, the great state of Georgia. I said, tell me, what's the story? He said, could you endorse him? I said, well, tell me about him. I did a little research. And the only thing that mattered to me, I mean, to be honest with you, he's all Trump all the way. He was, before I knew him, I didn't know him. He had a very successful past, but I didn't know him. But he was very, you know, it's like Trump. He likes Trump. And it's hard to endorse people that don't like you, you know? Somehow I have a little problem with that. But his name, I said, what's his name? Brian Kemp, and he's a really smart guy, really good guy, and I endorsed him. And he went on to win. And his wonderful wife, Marty, is even better than him. But I have to tell you, we campaigned together. We campaigned together. And I mean, I've never seen, we campaigned against, I guess, Stacey. And we had Oprah. You know, Oprah used to be a friend of mine before I went into politics. She'd be down at Mar-a-Lago a lot. She liked our key lime pie. She liked our key lime. But Oprah was great. She was a friend of mine. But, you know, once you do this stuff, you lose a lot of friends very quickly. But that's okay. We got to do the right thing. And we had Barack Obama, Michelle Obama. They practically lived in Georgia. And all Brian had was Trump. And Brian won fairly easily. It wasn't that close. Brian Kemp. Great guy. And Marty, thank you very much. That's great. He's a great governor, and he was ahead of the curve. He said, we got to get this thing open here. And you know, those are the states that are doing the best. The ones that are doing these lockdowns, not to mention the problems caused with depression, drugs, alcoholism, all of the other things. So I just want to thank Brian and Marty, and it's great, and you're doing good. How am I doing, by the way, Brian? Are we going to win it? Because if we're not, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take my endorsement away from him if I don't. No, you're doing a great job as governor. Thank you very much. Brian Kemp. Thank you, everybody. Another guy, he's been a friend of mine for a long time. You know, he's a very, very successful man. And he did what I did. He wanted to do something. He wanted to give back. He loves this state like crazy. He loves our country. And he's central casting. If I'm casting a movie and I want to pick a senator, you know what I do? I say, I got to get David Perdue to play the role. But he is respected by everybody in Washington. He is respected and revered. And he brings back the bacon to this state, I want to tell you. He came to see me. David, stand up. He came to see me about the farmers when they got, that's how I got involved in the whole thing and the hurricanes and all the damage. And we brought in a lot of money for our farmers in Georgia, right, David? So thank you very much. Great job. You're doing a fantastic job. And come to think of it, can't even believe, you know, the guy that's running against him, I beat him once before. 2 years ago, he was running against a very good woman, Karen, right? Karen Handel. And she's doing very well. But he was running against her, and we defeated him. And then he said, he's running against David. I said, this guy's not in the same league with David Perdue. I mean, that puts a lot of pressure on David, just like I have pressure on me. You're running against these people. It puts more pressure on you, David. It would be easier to run against somebody that was good. But he's a radical left, Schumer, Pelosi guy. He's bad on the Second Amendment. I remember when he was running, he didn't even live in the district. He's running for Congress. I said, what's going on? But we defeated him once, and I hear you're going to defeat him again. Thank you, David. Thank you. So a person who's become a friend of mine, and Brian thought she was fantastic, and I met her, and I said, the only thing is, you know, how would you handle pressure? You never know. This is a rough, mean business. And I found out she can handle pressure. She has been fantastic. She was with me 100% on the impeachment hoax. She's been with us all the way, and she's a great woman, and her husband is a great man and a very successful man. That's a good thing, not a bad thing, by the way. Some people would like to say, oh, the husband's a great failure. It's much better. No, no, no. He's a really respected person, and he loves his wife, and she's a terrific person. Kelly Loeffler. Kelly? Thank you. Great job. Great job, Kelly. Great job. I mean, my only problem, she's running against another great guy. I just said, run it out. I'm backing both of them because Doug Collins is here. Where's Doug? Boy, am I in a lousy position. I like them both. I love them both. He's been unbelievable with the impeachment hoax and everything else. He's a warrior. She's a warrior. But you know what I like? They're both going to the polls. They're going to bring their people with them. And you know who the biggest winner is going to be? Trump. Because everybody that votes for both of them is going to vote for me. But honestly, regardless of what happens, they're both going to be winners because whoever doesn't officially win is going to have an unbelievable future, and I'm going to make sure of it because these are two incredible people. Okay? You. And I mean it. But what a lousy position to be in, David, right? You like both of them, sort of. Oh, boy. So we have somebody, Jody Heist. You know Jody? Stand up, Jody. What a job. A warrior. A warrior. Thank you very much for everything, Jody. Jody's only leading his district by about 5,000 points, so we don't have to worry too much. We don't have to spend too much time. You're doing a great job, Jody. We appreciate it very much. Barry Loudermilk. Barry, thank you very much. Great job. Great job. These are warriors. These are incredible people. Rick Allen. Rick, thank you. Thank you. And another one who wanted, you know, a guy, he knows more about the farming industry. You know, when I was picking the Secretary of Agriculture, they had all these political people come in. I said, do you know anything about farms? No, sir, I don't, but I'm a quick learner. I said, oh, that's great. You know, I'm interviewing these people. And I went through about 9 of them, and so far, you know, I didn't have any guy. I said, do you know what corn looks like? Do you know anything? No, some of them had absolutely zero. I said, have you ever been to a farm? No, sir, but I'm willing to learn. I said, oh, this is what I want. And then I meet this guy named Sonny Perdue. Somebody said, right? And Sonny came. I remember that meeting so much. And Sonny came into my office. And by the way, David called and Sonny called also about Brian, right? You know that, Brian, both of them. But he comes into my office, and I'm telling you, to this day, I learned more about farming in that 45-minute meeting than I learned ever in my life. I learned it all from you, and you have done a great job, and you've delivered $28 billion, and I hear another $13 billion is coming to our farmers. Right? He loves our farmers. He's been great. He's been an incredible Secretary of Agriculture. Stand up again, Sonny. Come on. We like you. By the way, I guess he was also your governor like for 8 years, right? I don't even count that. I don't care about that. But you know, he was a very popular governor, Brian. You know that. He was very popular. He did a great job. But he was your governor for 8 years. But he has been a fantastic Secretary of Agriculture. Thank you, Sonny. I'm glad I could say it in front of your home friends, okay? And State Representative Vernon Jones. How about Vernon? How about Vernon? Where's Vernon? Man, what a guy. Look at this. You know, I saw him on television a few months ago, and he's talking about Trump is the greatest, he's the strongest, what he's done for our military, what he's done on the... And I say, oh, this is a great guy. I wonder where he... And obviously, I said he's a Republican, so... And they put the thing on the bottom. It says Vernon Jones, Democrat from wherever the hell he comes from. I said, there must be a typo. He's better than any Republican. I can't believe it. And then I checked him out, and he's a Democrat who likes Trump, and we love him. Vernon, thank you. And he's a popular guy. Amazing. Amazing. Spoke at our convention. And somebody who's doing a fantastic job, Insurance Commissioner John King. John, thank you. Great job, John. Appreciate it. Public Service Commissioners, Bubba McDonald and Tricia Pridemore. Thank you very much, both. Thank you, Bubba. Thank you, Tricia. Thank you, Tricia. And somebody who better lead us to victory, I'll never speak to him again. We'll have a new state chairman of the Georgia GOP if we don't win, but we're going to win. David Schaefer. David, thank you. How are we doing, David? How are we? Good? Way up? I saw a poll, we're way up. Don't just pretend we're even. You know what they do in politics? David Perdue taught me this. Pretend you're 1 point down, okay, and then work your ass off, and then just sit home and watch. That's what happened 4 years ago. Was that the greatest evening ever? But this is going to be better. This is going to be better. And this is, in its own way, even more important. Candidates for Congress, Andrew Clyde. Andrew, thank you, Andrew. That's great. Good luck. I heard you're doing really well. And somebody that I just think is fantastic. This one, I never, ever want to have her as my enemy. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Where is she? She is so unbelievable. You are so unbelievable. Thank you. And I looked at some poll numbers. You're really up. But just pretend you're 1 point down, please, okay? But you're doing great. They love you. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Great job. And finally, Angela Stanton King. Angela, great. It's going to be another great victory. That's going to be a great victory. Thank you very much, Angela. Great job. Congratulations. And last but not least, we have a woman that won us the state of Michigan, Ronna McDaniel. You know, Ronna she was the chair of Michigan. And she kept bringing me back and back and back. And I said, who is this woman? And then we won Michigan, which had, and by the way, we're up in Michigan. It was just announced. We have a lot of car companies moving into Michigan, and they've moved in. Thank you. Thank you. She's done a fantastic job. Now, when it came time to pick the head of the Republican National Committee, I said, who is that woman in Michigan that kept getting me back there? Every week I'd get a call. Sir, you have to come back. You can win Michigan. I said, Michigan hasn't been won in 38 years. She said, I'm telling you, you're going to win. All right, so I went back and back. And each time I'd say, look, that's it, okay? That's it. You know, it's like a big deal. She said, no, that's okay, sir, that's it. The next day I get a call, you have to come back once more. And it was actually my last stop. It was at 1 o'clock in the morning, now actually Election Day. We had 32,000 people show up at 1 in the morning in Grand Rapids, right? Grand Rapids, Michigan. And we ended up winning the state of Michigan, first time in, decades, many decades. And now we're doing well. A poll just came out, Ronna, we're up in Michigan. You know why? Because they had no car companies, they had no plants, they had no nothing for 44 years. And they're building plants all over the state of Michigan because of me. And they're coming in from Japan, and they're coming in from Germany. They're building plants all over and expanding plants. So I think Michigan likes us. We've done the job. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you. Done a great job. And get out there, and these three candidates for Senate, you got to get out there, really get out there and vote. They're unbelievable people. They're unbelievable, three unbelievable people. And we appreciate it. Under my administration, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world, which is true. There's never been anything like it. And now we are doing it again. You know, I see these hats, Make America Great Again. So you know what I say? Make America great again, again. Make America great again, again. Sure. We had it done, and then the plague came in from China. We're not forgetting that. You watch. We're tariffing the hell out of them. We're getting so much better. We gave it. Our farmers were targeted. We gave it to our farmers, Sonny, so that's fine. In my first 3 years, family income increased by $6,000. Think of that, $6,000 a family. More than 5 times the gains in all 8 years under the Obama-Biden administration. Remember this, and I said it today, I never even thought of it. If they were good, I wouldn't be your president. I wouldn't have run. If they were good, I wouldn't have even run. But they were horrible, so I won. If they were good and I did run, I wouldn't have won because they would have done a good job and I wouldn't have run. They were horrible. They had Ferguson. They had all of the problems in different places. Oakland, they had tremendous. Baltimore, they had tremendous. They had nothing but problems. It was a disaster. And anyway, and the trade deals were the worst. And the Iran deal with $150 billion, we got nothing. And $1.8 billion in cash. African-American income grew 9 times more, 9 times, than it did under Biden and Obama. You know, they called up David today. They said, sir, we have bad news. What's the bad news? Obama's going to start campaigning for Sleepy Joe. I said, is that good or bad? Why is it bad? Because he campaigned harder for Hillary than she did. You know? He was very ineffective as a campaigner to me. I thought he was very ineffective. So I think that's good news. But if you remember, you just remember this. He was a vice president for 8 years to Obama, and Obama refused to endorse him. He wouldn't endorse. You know why? Because he knows he's mentally shot. He's shot. And Obama, look, I mean, he's a patriot. And he says, you can't have a guy like this. And then he ended up lucking out because Warren wouldn't get out of the race, and so they were splitting up the vote. And what did he do? He wouldn't do it. It took him forever to make the endorsement, David, right? It took him forever. And finally, because he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe this guy won. But they said he's going to be campaigning for him. Just remember what I said. He never thought it was possible that he won. And then even after he won, he couldn't do it, but he finally got it done. To bring opportunity, security, fairness, and prosperity to black communities, I recently announced the Platinum Plan, which is a big deal. We will create 3 million new jobs for black Americans, increase access to capital, restore safety to every neighborhood, and we will deliver school choice, which is the most important thing. We're doing that. That's all done. And remember this, and I say this, and some people think it's like a lot, but it's true. They don't challenge me. With the exception of Abraham Lincoln, nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump. And it's true. It's true. I got criminal justice reform. That was me. That was not anybody else but me. They came to see me. I got criminal justice reform done, prison reform, opportunity zones done with Tim Scott from South Carolina, great senator, great man, great person. He's a great, great person. And I got all of this stuff done, opportunity zones, and we did historically black colleges and universities. Every year, they would come up, the heads of these colleges and universities, black colleges and universities, really good people. And after the 3rd year, I said, how come you keep coming? Because they didn't have any deal. So every year they had to come. I said, what do you feel like? He said, one man, great guy. He said, I feel like a beggar. Because every year we'd come up and beg for money. I got them 10-year absolute funding. Historically black colleges. Obama wouldn't do it. Biden wouldn't do it. Nobody did it. I did it. Just remember, criminal justice reform. That's the biggest thing. Biden has vowed to ban school choice in charter schools, devastating the black community. We've spent the last 4 years reversing the damage that Joe Biden inflicted over the last 47 years with his stupidity. He backed NAFTA. He backed TPP, which would have been a disaster if I didn't stop it. And China's entry into the World Trade Organization, one of the worst things that's ever happened to our country. For decades, our politicians spent trillions of dollars rebuilding foreign nations, fighting foreign wars, countries that you've never even heard of, and defending foreign borders, but we didn't defend our own borders. But now we're finally protecting our nation, rebuilding our cities, and we are bringing our jobs, our factories, and our troops back home to the USA. About time. About time. They're all coming home. They're all coming home. They're all coming home. We invested $2.5 trillion in the U.S. military and launched the first new branch of the United States Armed Forces in 75 years. So necessary, the Space Force, and they helped us get it approved. And for our great veterans, we passed VA choice and VA accountability. And you heard 2 weeks ago, we got a 91% approval rating from our vets. First time this ever happened. We took over 100% of the ISIS caliphate in Iraq and Syria, and when I took over, it was a mess. And we killed the leader of ISIS who was trying to reform ISIS. Al-Baghdadi is dead. We took out the world's #1 terrorist and the mass murder of American troops and troops all over the world and many, many people. Soleimani is dead. I withdrew from the last administration's disastrous Iran nuclear deal. They spent $150 billion to Iran that they used for terror. $1.8 billion in cash. I terminated. By the way, my first phone call, if we win, will be from the head of Iran saying, let's make a deal. Their economy is in tatters right now. They went down 27% GDP. I've never even heard of such a thing. But you know what? We don't want that. We want them to do fine, but they can never have a nuclear weapon. I recognize the true capital of Israel and opened the American embassy, right? And opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. And it's all built. It's all built. It's all built. It's all built. We got it. Not only did we get it approved, I got the building built. I said, find a building on a site that we own. And they came to me. You know that story. They were going to spend $2 billion to build an embassy. I said, that sounds like a lot. And I called our great ambassador. I said, David, do we have any land in Jerusalem? He said, yeah, we have a great site. I said, take a look at it, call me. Calls me, he said, there's a building on the site, we can renovate it. Now, we're going to spend anywhere from $1 billion to $2 billion, right? I said, well, let's do this. Can we do something? Yes, sir. He calls me back a week later. He said, sir, we can renovate the building fully for $350,000 that we have already. Thank you. It's the first time in my life, in my business career, I ever did this. I said, David, it's too cheap. It doesn't sound good. Normally, I'd say, let's make it $250,000. I said, David, make it like $500,000 and use Jerusalem stone. I have a friend, Ron Barron, smart guy. He's so proud. He's got Jerusalem stone in his lobby of his office building. And I said, can you get Jerusalem stone? He said, yeah, we're in Jerusalem. I said, that's good. The whole place is Jerusalem stone, and it was cheap as hell, I'll tell you. So we built this building for under $500,000, and it's been open for a long time. And every president for many, many decades has said they were going to do it, and not one of them got it done. And I got it done and got the building built. I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. 52 years they were working on that. They were working on it for 52 years. I got it done in about 2.5 hours. And instead of endless war, we are forging peace in the Middle East without blood all over the sand, right? You see what's going on? UAE, Bahrain, and we have countries lined up to sign. The fact is, I did more in 47 months than sleepy Joe Biden did in 47 years. And now the Democrats are pushing the most far-left agenda ever put forward by a presidential nominee. The Biden plan would destroy Social Security and destroy protections for pre-existing conditions. People with pre-existing conditions are never going to get it. Their plan and this Green New Deal will destroy our country. It's crazy. You know, when I first heard it, I thought they were joking, actually. I thought, oh, not even cows do they want. They don't want cows. I think they gave up on that one, but they didn't really give up. They will never give up. Biden's running mate sponsored a bill to outlaw private health insurance. 180 million people that love their private plans, right? They love their private plans. Those plans are going to be gone. Biden vowed to terminate our travel bans on jihadist regions and surge refugee admissions 700%, opening the floodgates to radical Islamic terrorism. Your state and your country will be overrun and overwhelmed. We'll have no money, and we will indeed be another Venezuela, very large-scale version. A vote for Republicans is a vote for safe communities, great jobs, and a limitless future for all Americans. It's a vote for the American dream. It's the American dream, and we're going to have it bigger and better than we ever had it before. And in conclusion, over the next 4 years, we will make America into the manufacturing superpower of the world, and we will end our reliance on China once and for all. It's already taking place. We will hire more police, increase penalties for assaults on law enforcement, and we will ban deadly sanctuary cities. We will uphold religious liberty, free speech, and the right to keep and bear arms. Second Amendment. We will strike down terrorists who threaten our citizens, and we will keep America out of these absolutely ridiculous, endless foreign wars. Our troops are coming home. We will maintain America's unrivaled military might, and we will ensure peace through strength. And I want to tell you, we have the greatest weapons, much of it built, ever in the history of any country in the world. We are the envy of China and Russia and North Korea and everybody. And when I came here, one of our most overrated generals in the world told me, one of the most overrated generals, he said, "Sir, we have no ammunition." And I said, no president should ever, ever hear that. And now we have ammunition like you wouldn't believe, but we have rockets, and we have missiles, and we have tanks, and we have F-35s and all sorts of aircraft, tankers and bombers, and you only hope to God we never have to use it, that's all. But we are the envy of the world. We have rebuilt our military, $2.5 trillion, and we have never had anything like it. So just hope we never have to use it. We will end surprise medical billing, require price transparency, and further reduce the cost of prescription drugs. They'll be coming down 80%, 90%, 70%. We will strongly protect Medicare and Social Security, and we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. So important. America will land the first woman on the moon, and the United States will be the first nation to land an astronaut on Mars, and that's moving along rapidly. And we will stop the radical indoctrination of our students and restore patriotic education to our schools. We will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. And we will live by the timeless words of our national motto, "In God we trust. In God we trust." For years, you had a president who apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America and standing up for the great state of Georgia. I love Georgia. Early voting is underway, so get your friends, get your family, get your neighbors, get your co-workers. Get your boss, if you have a boss. Say, boss, you come with me right now. And get out and vote early. Get out and vote. A giant red wave is coming. From Atlanta to Augusta, from Savannah to Columbus, and from Marietta to right here in Macon, Georgia. I love Macon. Macon, Georgia. We inherit the legacy of Georgia patriots who gave their blood, sweat, and tears for this beloved nation. We stand on the shoulders of American heroes who crossed the oceans, blazed the trails, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, dug out the Panama Canal, laid down the railroads, raised up the giant skyscrapers, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and made America the single greatest nation in the history of the world, and we are making it greater every single day. Proud citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people. With your help, your devotion, and your drive, we are going to keep on working, we are going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together with the incredible people of Georgia, we have made America wealthy again. We have made America strong again. We have made America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Georgia. Thank you very much.